So welcome to the 1990 series. My name is Amanda O'Shea, the Loving Life Coach from the Serendipity Experience. And I have with me today from Bexley, Southeast London, Kent borders in the UK, Mr. Dave Kibby. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, it's so lovely to see you.
You too, thank you.
I always remember you as the man in the red trainers.
I don't have any anymore.
Funny.
I know. It's a long story, but no, I don't have my red shoes.
Lucky you did. Was it the boy in the red shoe? Or what did we used to call you? The man in the red shoes?
The guy in the red shoes.
The guy in the red shoes.
The guy in the red shoes.
Lucky you spend a lot of money branding that one then, eh? And now you haven't.
That is yeah. They had to go. I had a back problem basically, and in the whole reparation and fixing of that, somebody suggested to me that I swapped my Nike red shoes for some barefoot technology shoes, and I was like, ooh, I don't know about that. I quite like my designer trainers, and anyway, so I tried them, and it was like, where have you been all my life?
Wow.
And that was it. Like within 6 weeks, I'd sold every pair of trainers I'd got and replaced them with barefoot trainers.
Wow.
So that was, unfortunately, they didn't do at that time a red shoe. I'd have probably bought one, but they didn't. And the only ones they do now don't fit very well. So I am not the guy with the red shoes. I'm the guy who once had red shoes.
Okay, you're the guy with the barefoot.
yeah, something like that.
Ah, Dave, it's always, I have such lovely, I guess that we met at some event where, I can't remember whether it was Viva or one of the London conferences or something like that. But I do remember maybe 3 years ago or so was when I really got to know you, when I came on one of your coaching leaders trainings. I came on 2, actually.
You did, yes. Bless your heart. You came back.
I returned. And do you know why, Dave? Well, this is about me giving thanks to people that have been on my journey. And I would really love to just say a huge thank you for, there was a huge shift that I had when I was in the room with you on that first coaching leaders. It was a shift, a game shifter for me.
Yeah. It was for me as well.
Yeah, it was very, very clever the way that you put.
It's kind of you to say, but I just occasionally we kind of know we're onto something, and at that time where I was in like my journey or my development, whatever, I knew I was onto something that had been like, when it's like floating around in your brain for a while, and I knew I was onto something then, and it was just good word for you, it was serendipitous that you guys were there, and it did whatever it did. I think it did wonders for all of us. It was like an opening of a new chapter. It was cool. Really cool.
Yeah,
we killed content. I think that's what I remember about it the most. We saw that content was completely irrelevant. And what we were talking about was both content free and content rich in the same way. So it pervaded everything. So the content became really immaterial. It was what was beneath that is really that was the conversation we were having. It was super cool.
And it was really like design in the moment, because that's what it was. It was also the strategy. Like everybody in a way was looking for the strategy of the way Dave Kibby runs a leadership program, and the whole thing was right. There was nothing, and it kind of came. But it was for me, it was very, very, very clever. Something happened in there. I had a huge shift, and I've always given thanks to you, because I came away from there really feeling like I had a mission. I felt like I was part of a team with a mission statement of, we want to end kind of, world suffering in any little way that we can. That was, and I felt so empowered that's when I came back, and I went to one of these business brunches with a kind of like, I've got this message, to share with the world, that came from me having this apparent safety of this team of 12 guys I'd spent.
Yeah, I like that.
And that's what got me noticed, and that's suddenly I was invited up to the treatment center, where I'm still here today, 3 years later.
It's amazing, isn't it? When I think that's there's so, I mean, we could just talk about that all the time, really. There's so much in there, but when like all of this stuff like it's just a journey for each of us, really, and it's a journey inwards, and the more of that I suppose becomes revealed, or however you want to look at it, to the point of what I would call now liberation, which is a dissolving of the energy that powers instability. But I suppose that's roughly how I talk about it nowadays. There can be like an unsettling energy that seems to be in the body, which seems to be picked up by the brain, and lots of just crap gets generated because of it. But and there seems to be no reason that energy forms, particularly from as far as I can tell in the research I've done and people I've listened to. But the good news is it can go again. You can't force it. That's the bad news. Because that's what we've been trained to do. We've been trained to learn and to listen and to attend things and to memorize what we've been told. That's how our education system works. It's around data. It's around information. Unfortunately, this doesn't obey those rules. As far as I can see, it doesn't care very much whether you how many trainings you've been on, how many retreats you've been on, how much you deserve it. It's not really that bothered about that. But it can go. It can the energy can go from the body, and when the energy goes from the body, and everybody has experiences of this. They might not describe it in the way that I'm describing it. They might not like what I'm saying, but everybody has a felt experience of yeah, I think of it as liberation or freedom, like an internal freedom, which seems to, it's an apparent thing that seems to allow us, like you said, to go out to people and be mission led, and because you feel it. When you feel it, you can sell it, you can speak about it, you can talk about it. If you're not feeling it, you can't. You can't really go and talk to people about, peace of mind and well-being and stuff if you feel a bit shit. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. And
so that sounds to me like what happened for you. You had a seismic recognition of that which was there, and a falling off of that which appeared to be there but wasn't there, and then it's like, oh, now I can, and you just get sparkling.
yeah, that's it.
People notice you and go, oh, what's going on with you then? I wouldn't mind talking about that, so that was cool.
It's like being in love. That's like being in love again, It's like suddenly.
Oh, completely. That's, yes.
We are sparkly and wide-eyed, and we're oozing it. It's
like being a giant baby. When you like my niece has got a 5-week-old baby, and so she's bashing pictures on WhatsApp and whatever, and I look at him and he's just like, wow. Wide-eyed wonder, and it's that. But the thing that's just so hard, I think, and particularly as a bit of a thinky kind of person myself, is we so want to learn it. I'm just used to learning stuff, and then I can share it. Learn it. You can't learn this.
You can't learn this, but somehow we talked, about it being, we kind of know.
Yeah.
We know that there's something. Dave, we had a little chat earlier about, what should we call today, and the title "Out of Sorts."
Oh, yeah.
Popped up from something that you had said, and I love what you were saying about, sometimes we just feel out of sorts.
Yeah, completely. Yeah. I think just before we came on the call, what had been going through my mind was how when we're out of sorts, it's like, it's pervasive. It's just everything just seems wrong in the world, and it becomes like the most dominant thing to sort it out, to fix it, to grab hold of it, and like, I think most people know that the more you seem to try to do that, the worse it gets. But you can't stop yourself, or at least that's my experience anyway. It's like, it doesn't matter if I want to stop trying to fix it, I'm still in there meddling around. And then
up for the
yeah, no, completely, yeah. It's like, and then of course that vanishes, whether it's a temporary kind of clearing, or whether it's as I say, what I would call liberation itself, which is like a more, permanent, just like gone. And you sort of find yourself thinking, God, I wonder what all the fuss was about in the first place. And that's just that's quite a tiring dynamic. At least I found it like incredibly tiring. I don't anymore, I have to say, but I did. It was really exhausting, that kind of apparent oscillation between, really feeling like, oh yeah, I know I feel good with the world and I can go out and do stuff, and then like within a heartbeat, like you couldn't feel any worse. And I just have, and funny enough, often people reach out to me when they feel like that. So there must be, whether it's because I've gone through so much of it, I don't know, but something must resonate maybe.
That's really nice, isn't it? Actually, that people reach out for you, because you're very. I like what I used to love about you is you're very straightforward.
Yeah.
You say it as you say it. Right? I like that, because. But that
yeah, it's not every. No, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, and sometimes I hear what comes out of my mouth, and I think, Jesus, what the fuck? Like my mother would be horrified, kind of thing. They tried to bring me up to be a nice boy, and it just. But somebody got in touch with me recently and having terrible problems with anxiety, and I was like, why? And I was genuinely, it's not feigned at all. I was like, why have you phoned me? Like, there would be a lot of. Well, they messaged me and I said, look, I normally just say to people, do you want to chat? Because for me, the energy of speaking is much more powerful than the energy of writing. Not so for all people, but it is for me. And I said, look, I'll happily chat. I was just kind of, mooching around at home, doing nothing in particular. And I did say to them at the start, are you sure? Because I don't think I'm going to like be a person of comfort. Right? Sometimes, do you know what I mean? Sometimes when you feel down, you just want comfort. You want, and that isn't usually what comes out here. Yeah, I think it comes from quite a comforting energy, but it isn't like, oh, I'm sorry. And it was, and they were like, no, I heard you speaking on X, Y, Z, and fine. And so yeah, it was just really interesting having that conversation, and the fact that I could offer them no hope whatsoever. They found oddly comforting. So I then teased them that wasn't my intention,
Right.
but there was no comfort available.
I guess the energy,
that can be hard.
But the energy knows what to say. Sometimes people do need comfort, and sometimes people need a bit of a kick up the boot, kind of. It seems,
Well, I think what was interesting for this individual was they'd been out of sorts for so long, and they'd been in the game of out of sorts, trying to get back in sorts, and they'd spoken to so many people who, in a sense, had offered them hope, and I took it away like instantly. It was off the table. It's like, oh, there's nothing for you here. Nothing at all. And we just spoke about it very matter of factly, and that they seem to find that very assuring. Like it's quite difficult when people are endlessly offering you hope.
Yeah.
But you're down again, and it's like, oh God, another person, another coaching session, another seminar, another retreat, and I still feel crap.
Yeah.
And there was something, at least that's what she relayed, was there was something in being told as well. No, you may well feel like this always. It's quite possible. It people live and die like that, and we know that. That's the weird thing, isn't it? We all know that, really. No matter whether we like it or don't like it, we know that for some people, that feeling just doesn't dissipate. It doesn't go away for whatever. I don't know why. I've got no clue. And then for others, it just does.
Yeah, and I was going to say, is it what we kind of is seeing that behind all of that, what's available is that there is probably another way to see it, but until they see it for themselves from that inside out, and how about it's all right? I like how about it's all right if that's how it is, like if it naturally.
Well, yeah, except like, I don't know about you, but for me, when I felt out of sorts, the idea that that's all right is just it's like, no, it just isn't. And so I think probably nowadays I've got much more compassion for that, that it just isn't okay, and it sort of turtles all the way down, isn't it? It isn't okay, but it's okay that it isn't okay, but it's okay that it isn't okay that it's not okay, and loopy. But I think you're right. It's like the energy speaks, and yeah, to me, it's quite clear nowadays what it looks like that's going on, and it's quite clear that in fact as much as that energy seems to come and seems to appear to reside in the body, it can vanish again as well, and what's left is quite remarkable, and like nothing we would have imagined, which is also quite entertaining as well, because the mind loves making up tricks and stories about what liberation might be like. It loves it.
And I wonder what that inside kind of the voice inside, or whatever you want to call it, I wonder what, when that hears, well, this is how it's going to be, I want, actually that in itself can have a bit of a jolt, from the, like, well, I don't want it to be like this. It's like, and here we go. It's almost like, by not giving the softy, easy, oh come on, we'll keep, and hope's good when we're in a very low place. But once we get to an okay place, hope is almost like, well, it might not, it might not. Hope when you're really down low, I see as being quite positive. But if we're living always in hope up here, well, we stay there a bit,
Well, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. How it looks to me is this energy that I keep referencing. Some people would call it like the energy of separation. It's where that comes from. It seems to make it impossible to accept that the only thing that's happening is what appears to be happening, and of course that's it becomes a seeking energy for most people. That's how it transpires, and so that can become seeking through spirituality, through therapy, through addiction, through whatever. It's that seems to be what transpires from that energy, some sense of seeking, and you just can't avoid it. Like, and this from all your work with addiction. I mean, often just one addiction swapped for a new addiction. It's just that hopefully the new one is less damaging to the body, or maybe even the mind than the old one was. But swapping one addiction of I don't know, let's say alcohol for mantras of some form or whatever, it's just the same. It's the same energy. So it's the energy that we're after, that energetic shift. That's what people really want, in truth, whether they know it or not. And that's what I think people like Sydney Banks would have meant when they said you're looking for a feeling. It's not you're looking to be happy all the time. You're looking for, and other people would call it grounding. So you're looking for something that is prior to the experience of being alive. You're looking for something that the whole experience is bedrocked in, that kind of, I don't know, seems to settle the psyche and lets it, and just lets you live. That's what most of us are looking for, is just be able to live. We know we're good at some stuff, not so good at others. It's just not such a biggie. And I think that's another thing. It's quite ordinary what we're after. And that's part of what I think is challenging, particularly in spiritual circles, is there's so many stories of, like, having these big spiritual awakenings. It all just sounds so dramatic, and that seeking energy really latches onto that and is expecting something quite like, perpetual Mozart and petals, that kind of thing. And so it is all quite, I mean, the reality is far more beautiful than I think anything I could have imagined, without a doubt. But it's not kind of like what the mind made up either, But that falls off so fast, because that's only perpetuated by the seeking energy. So when that seeking energy just collapses, then all of those stories and stuff, they just all disappear, and it's really dead ordinary.
It's just
dead ordinary.
Extraordinary.
No, I don't think it is. It's just, honestly, it's just, for me, it's just like, it's really ordinary, and that comes back to our little title, our little theme of today, the out of sorts. When you're out of sorts, you just desperately want this, like, big release and explosive life, and I just want to be free, and when that, and that's driven by this seeking energy. And when it really is the cosmic joke, right? When that collapses, you're just literally left with what apparently is going on. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what you're left with. But to the seeking energy, that's like hell. What, this? My life? You're going to leave me with my life? Surely there will be a, I will vanish in a puff of ethereal, psychological, and spiritual smoke or some shit. It's just nonsense.
It's all nonsense.
Entertaining nonsense.
But it still gives us something to talk about, hey? Gives us
Yeah.
Make videos.
No, when I say it's nonsense, I just mean like the nonsense the mind makes up. It's just, it's crazy. I mean, mine was brilliant.
You can't not play with the nonsense in a way. It's
No, that I think that's really clear. As I was saying to this person on the phone, is like it's going to be hard for you to hear, but you cannot not suffer until suffering stops. You cannot. It's like, and we know this. This is the dumb thing, right? It's like sneezing. You can't stop sneezing until you stop sneezing. You can't stop hiccuping until you stop hiccuping. I mean, all of these processes, we know that, and yet somehow we think with, when if you like trap your finger in a door or whatever, it hurts until it stops hurting, and it doesn't matter how much you go, oh, hang on, I'll remember that this pain is created from the inside out, or that I live in a paradigm where pain is generated by me, or, oh no, it's just the separate self creating pain. It fucking hurts until it stops. It's just so boringly, it's just, it's so refreshingly just plain. It's like, and then it stops. Okay.
However, what I do after that, we laugh about it more than dramatizing it and telling everyone about the hurt and the pain. It's something
yeah.
Because when we're in it, we're in it. But the moment we're out of it, it is about, oh, what happened?
Yeah, no, it is funny. It is funny. And yeah.
So
no, completely. And that's what liberation is like. It's really funny. Like when you feel tense and caught and whatever, you assume that if liberation were to arrive, you'd just be running up and down the street naked, kind of going, free, I'm free. And there's lots of stories like of gurus and stuff like that, and actually you're more likely to open the food cupboard and go, oh shit, I need to go to Sainsbury's again.
I love a donut.
Yeah, exactly. It's like whatever. It's not that exciting.
Dave,
But it is when you're suffering.
Yeah.
And it is like that, and that's that suffering energy that it's desperate for there to be something other than the only thing that there obviously is, which is just whatever seems to be going on at the time.
It's all in, it's all part of the whole mishmash of everything. We're in it, we're out of it. So we're in sorts, we're out of sorts.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, that's honestly, in and out of sorts is actually just out of sorts.
Where did that come from, the saying?
What's that?
Out of sorts.
Out of sorts.
Yeah.
Oh, no idea.
I'm going to find out.
Yeah. Look at the history of it. I don't know, but I think that is important. Actually, I would say that to people. If you're in and out, you're out. That's out of sorts. Masquerading as in. It's not liberation. Most people are looking for liberation. That's because they know it's there. I know you've got no choice really, but I can't resist pretending that there's choice. So don't settle for it. Keep going, keep looking. Honestly, it's boringly ordinary, but it's worth it. I assure you that.
Dave, what a pleasure to always have a little conversation.
Oh no, thank you. That's really kind.
Ruffle up the feathers. I love it, and there's something about about just been so wonderful for me to connect with people that I might have not seen or spoken to for a while. Because
no, it's a brilliant idea. I love it.
Around and hidden back a bit, doing what I've been doing. But I just wanted to say again, thank you for everything that.
That's a pleasure. No, thank you.
And it's good to see you again. So
yeah, you too.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Will do. Thank you.
Lots of love to you and lots of love to everybody. Thank you, Mr. Dave Kibby.
Thanks, Amanda.